Good morning, Dan. I see that you've joined. We'll wait a few minutes to see if anyone else joins us. No, then we'll get underway.
Good morning, Phil. This is Dan. I am actually with the city of South Bend, so I'm just cycling through the meetings, making sure everything is set up and started. Sean Delahanty, who was also just in here a second ago, is kind of doing the same thing. So you will see me leave here momentarily, but we just want to make sure that your room is up and running and it is recording. So thank you very much for all you're doing. We very much appreciate it.
Okay, great, Dan. Thank you too.
Yep, be well.
Good morning, Sonia. How are you? You're muted.
There we go. That should be good.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Well, you're the only one here so far, but really thank you so much for adding me to the invitation list. It takes a lot of courage to use all this technology and get everybody together. So
Yeah, I've been kind of bopping between all of them trying to troubleshoot with folks. So I just wanted to check in. I do appreciate you staying on the line. I know that with so many different institutions, you might get a rush of folks, in another 20 minutes.
right.
I do appreciate you making yourself available and staying on the line for folks.
Absolutely. I'll be here.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll check back in a little bit.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good morning, Deb.
Good morning.
I'm glad you could join. It's just you and I in the conference room so far, and so we can just have a nice little chat and let's see how things go. So tell me a little bit about you and what you're looking for.
Okay, so I have an optometry business in Mishawaka, and I don't know, are you guys going to be able to help Mishawaka?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Are you currently closed? Or are you open, or how is that working for you now?
Yeah, so we're closed as far as our office itself, but I'm still helping patients, on the phone and going in and getting charts, and still have a small revenue stream.
I understand. So have you applied for, or have you heard about any of the SBA disaster loans or the personal payroll protection loan programs, the PP?
Yeah, I applied for the EIDL, I guess.
Yes.
That one I haven't received yet. This morning, I just received notification that I got the PPP.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, yep. That's a big help.
Yeah. Yesterday, I was speaking with other customers that were, it was like 1 minute they were not going to get it because it was out of money, and then the next minute they got a notice. So it was very chaotic. Has been chaotic.
Yeah.
But we encourage all our customers to apply early, and I guess not often, but apply early to your participating bank. Did you apply through your participating bank?
I did, and it was pretty tense because that did happen to me yesterday, where I heard the money was gone and I had not heard anything on my loan, and they just told me sit tight. And then today I haven't looked at the closing documents or anything. My concern is, you're supposed to use it within 8 weeks, have 8 weeks in by the end of June, and we're closed,
Right.
so.
Right. Yes, I think that's a problem that a number of folks that are, it's like apply to get the loan because their money's going fast. And so, apply and figure out later to ask questions. I'm not sure of how long it will take from the time you're approved until closing. I've heard experiences all over the map. So hopefully yours will be a short time between announcement to closing. You are right, Deb, in that, it in some ways is great because, after 4 months, you'll have to apply, but it will be a loan. And that's exciting. But like many other businesses, if you're going to be closed, it's hard to think about meeting payroll, which you must with that loan. And then, you're thinking about cash flow to pay your other expenses during that time.
Yeah, exactly.
And then at that period of time when you might open back up again, we don't know how that will coincide with bringing employees back on again. Do you have existing employees on the payroll that you are furloughed or that you're paying?
Yeah, I have 12 employees. One of them was not eligible for unemployment, so I have continued to pay her. The others are furloughed so that they could get unemployment.
Right. Okay. So did you apply for the loan such that you can that you'll have sufficient funds to in essence pay everybody on your payroll for the 2.5 months?
That was my goal. Yeah, it's just tricky.
Well, you said it was your goal, and did they not describe how much money that you might be receiving?
Yeah, I haven't looked at my closing documents yet.
Okay. As kind of pursue the kind of catch-22 where this is a great loan program and, favorable terms and who doesn't want the forgivable loan aspect of it. So we are really focusing on your cash flow needs around that loan. Obviously, we're a nonprofit organization, community development financial institution, and we certainly prioritize our existing customers, but we have new customers with existing businesses. We do not do startups, and it doesn't sound like that's the case for you. We are generally making loans under $25,000. We'll go up to 50, depending on your needs. You can just email me, and I'll send you all the loan application documents. And essentially, what we're really trying to do is help you think about your cash needs outside of, the payroll protection loan program or the SBA emergency loan program. So if you're eligible for either of those and you don't want to get any more loans, so be it. If we can be an option to help you think through what are the kind of cash needs that you'll have in the interim, we'd like to be a part of that. Opening the door again. Some people call it reboot. I don't know exactly how that process is going to work. The government hasn't told us yet. We think you might need other sources of cash really to cover those expenses outside of payroll.
Yes. And so what would your product, what percentage will the APR be?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Oh, what is the interest rate on it?
Yes, we're looking at like a 24-month period, and we don't have a flat interest rate set for it. And there might be some cheaper options for you, but we're starting at 6%. And then we envision some of our customers either graduating into another loan from their bank or another loan from us that might be more long term. So as we work through that 24-month period, we would structure probably around a 5-year amortization. And so you're paying like it's a 5-year loan, but at the end of 2 years or the end of year, a quarter, you can certainly, we can help you apply for a more permanent loan from us or to help facilitate your loan request to another lender if they're offering more competitive rates or more favorable terms. But that's essentially, where we're starting. And, we think that, the 6 to 8% will be what we're offering.
Okay, thank you.
How long have you been in business, Deb?
Since 1997.
Oh, fantastic. And prior to this, you were getting access to credit through your bank?
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of a whole new world. And has your bank offered you any particular assistance at this point?
I haven't gone any further than the PPP and the EIDL.
Right. And the other thing that Deb, we're willing to do is to append the conversation that we start today, and we call it technical assistance, but just kind of sitting down with you over virtually, I guess. We'd rather be sitting down with you, but just to say, okay, all of these loans where you're doing a cash flow and in essence trying to identify what you have money for, what you don't have money for. We're not a competitor with your bank. We're partnering with your bank, and so if they're going to be able to extend credit, they're going to do it probably more favorably than we are. But you may have cash needs outside of your payroll or outside of other things. I talked with an existing customer yesterday, they have a piece of equipment that they're buying that their other equipment is broken, and so that's what they need. It's, we can sit down with you also as you to kind of take stock of what you have, and maybe we can fit in between those financing mechanisms.
Okay, thank you.
Caitlin, I see that you've joined us. Introduce yourself and tell us how we could be of assistance today.
Hi, yes, I'm Caitlin Hubbard from Bend Yoga in downtown South Bend. So I am curious, I am still somewhat of a startup. I was open for 2 weeks before I had to close for the stay-at-home.
Timing is everything, huh, Caitlin?
Yeah, it is. It was a good 2 weeks, but I don't have that year's worth of, financial history to show. So I don't know if that makes me a candidate for any of the financing that you're doing.
Yes, I was mentioning to Deb as you joined our room today that we think about Community Investment Fund of Indiana. We're thinking primarily around microloans. When I say microloans, that's under 25,000. We think we can go real fast with. Under 50,000 for larger businesses. Depends on what your needs might be. 24 months would be the term that we would like to offer you. But we would structure repayments like a 5-year loan, so you'd be making less of a payment. And in the hopes that after 24 months or maybe 1 month from now, who knows, you might not need the financing you think you need now, or you might need more, or you might have an option to get another loan from another source or a grant from the SBA. And that we want to be flexible with you and think about what kind of financing needs you have, what kind of financing you can get from the SBA, the disaster loans, those kind of things. And then, what your short-term cash flow needs are and how we can be a part of that. Your 2 months in business counts. We're not doing startups per se, but your 2 months gives you that track record. So we'd be happy to look at an application with you. We think that our interest rates are, in the 6% range. We do the underwriting. We may be able to offer better rates, but we say that's the target rate we're looking for at this point. It may be higher with some, depending on their credit needs and their business background. Okay,
thanks so much. And actually, just to clarify, I was in business for 2 weeks, not 2 months, unfortunately.
That's okay too. That's okay. Well, if we can be of assistance, probably the best way to do it is just email me, and I'll send you the loan application. And on there, you'll get to sort of define what you envision using the money for.
Okay, and what is the email address to contact you at?
It's in the resource guide that Tanya may have sent out to you. It's Phil Black at capitalizingindiana.org. Phil Black at capitalizingindiana.org.
Thank you.
Melissa, I see that you've joined, and certainly like to hear about what kind of project or business you have going.
Sure, I'm just writing down your email, Phil.
Okay.
I hope I wrote it down right. So I run a small not-for-profit theater that just moved from South Bend to Mishawaka. We're all volunteer, so we don't have any paid employees, but we have a brand new mortgage. We've been there since November. We've been in business for 30 years. Very small though. Had an operating budget until we moved of about $30,000 a year. We keep our costs down and keep our product good. So
right.
Without employees, we did apply for the small business disaster loan. And what we heard back, which I just heard this week, was that it appears that they're prioritizing according to employees. So that doesn't mean no, we'll see. But obviously the PPP loans aren't for us. So I'm wondering if you might have a product for us in Mishawaka.
Right now, we generally are not. We don't have a product for nonprofits.
Ah,
We have the capability to make those loans, and in general, when it's not these difficult times. And so what we may be able to do is flex one of our products to meet your needs. Do you know at this point what kind of size loan that you might have?
we're still trying to determine. It depends upon how long we have to go without producing a product ourselves.
Right. And what would you generally use the funds for?
Pay mortgage, operating costs, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. You know that you might look at some of the projections engines online to maybe do a cash flow projection. The Small Business Development Center there in town, they SCORE has that. You know, it's a spreadsheet, and I might get you to kind of do a projection, a year's projection about what your cash needs might be, and probably your crystal ball is as good as mine about when it might open back up again. And even if you open back up, you know, how long is it going to take you to produce a product that you can earn revenue on?
Right. To actually get people to show up.
To show up, yes.
Yeah, so we do have an operating budget that we've worked out with the new building. I mean, we've been there since November, so we've had a chance to kind of take a look at what those costs are going to be. We can judge from the last few months. So I don't have it at hand right now, but we have done some of those projections. But what specifically through the SBA in South Bend, is that where they have the tools?
Yes, and you know, I don't know how. I'm sure. I don't know if we're for-profit only or not. I'm thinking, but it's called the Indiana Small Business Development Center.
Yeah.
And and I would just go online and request an appointment, and even if that service is at no charge to you, I work with them a lot, and at least they can make some of those resources they have available to you, like a projection engine or those kind of things. I admit to you that you know, we're nonprofit too, and right now there's just a lot of emphasis on for-profit businesses and enterprise and helping them get there. But I would be willing, Melissa, if you kind of chart out, I can send you our loan application if you'll drop me an email. We don't do like fast commit. Like the federal government to get you something in 24 hours, but we would try to find you a resource on this, and it could be that if we could partner with your existing bank to try to bridge that or be a part of that. So eventually you go back to your bank, or we will participate with your bank for a short period of time, and we could be in and out of your life, so to speak. But we don't sell a product, you know, specifically for nonprofits now, because the universe looks like it's about 1 million, and then me and you in the nonprofit business. So
right. No, this is not new news, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, and what we can do is, since you've been in business for 30 years, last couple of years in financial statements,
sure,
in that projection, and then we'll have a conversation again, and where we can go from there. And in the meantime, I'll see what I can find out for you.
Thank you so much. I'll shoot an email to you. Thanks.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Your facility there is new, or you moved from some other place?
We moved from downtown South Bend, where we've been for 6 years. We've been in South Bend always. This is our first attempt at being in Mishawaka. A little bit different market. Real estate was more affordable for us.
Right.
We finally decided to take that plunge and become homeowners. And timing was probably not the best, but that's how it rolls sometimes. So it's a really tremendous organization with a lot of energy, just because it's volunteer, so it's passion driven.
Right. And who do you bank with now for your mortgage?
We bank with First Source Bank.
First Source.
Mm-hmm.
We are a CDFI, as I said during the introduction, and on our board of directors, we have First Coast Bank. So certainly, I mean, in addition to our board of directors giving us guidance like yours, we certainly try to identify customers where we have member banks that we can maybe figure out a way to do that. So they did your mortgage, and the only instrument they did for you at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Who do you work with there? Is it anybody particular?
I don't directly work with him, so I can't remember his name. Our treasurer deals directly with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just pulling your financials together and making some projections from not from what you thought you were going to do, but like your reality now.
Right.
And I, if you have a meeting of your staff or something, I'd be willing just to sit in and be quiet and listen to you and kind of think about, well, what's our near-term need, and what maybe an intermediate term, and then maybe a long-term issue, and that maybe we could fill that gap in the short term.
All right.
But I've talked with several customers yesterday of our existing portfolio, and they're concerned, like, well, one is, how long are we going to be closed?
Right.
And then number two, if we get the green light to open, will you be on that list? And number three, if you're not on that list, or even if you're open, you still have to find customers that feel comfortable coming in to do that. So there may be a period after you open that you're having to pay bills, and you just have to train your customers to come back to you.
And for us, there's a waiting period after we reopen too, because we need time for our teams, our theater teams, to come together. That's part of the magic of theater, is to have everybody come together in person for a while, right, for rehearsals. So there's a period of time, at least a month, that we can't do it virtually.
Right. I wouldn't think it would be very satisfying at all to do what you're doing virtually.
We're doing our best, but we have some virtual projects going. But anyway, thank you so much, and I'll talk with our treasurer and the rest of our board, and I'll send an email to you. We'll pull some documents together and see what happens. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Oh, thank you as well. And I'm going to leave, but don't take it personally.
Okay, not at all.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, Nita, who is, tell me about your business.
Hi, Laquita Hughes. I run a childcare business. And so I did not apply for the PPC, any of those loans. I was told that I wasn't open long enough. And so I just wanted to know, what is the process? What does it look like with your institution? I've been open for 4 months. I've been licensed longer than that. Right. And so I'm just trying to figure it out and find out if it's feasible for me to apply for your within your process.
Right. Prior to this event, whatever you want to call it, did you think you had your cash flow and the loans that you needed in place to operate successfully?
Yes, I thought I did.
Okay, you're right. And so do you have a loan with a bank, or did you use your savings? Give me an idea of what you were doing there.
Well, I used my savings. I came off my job and I just took all my savings and put it into my business, because I knew that it was lucrative and that I would be able to make the money. And right. So my hopes was, because I'm also in the Spark program through St. Mary's, who got yes. me connected with all of you guys. Yes. The hope was to get a year, and then to start applying, for a loan to help within maybe finding a larger facility, because I know that, like I said, there's revenue in this business.
Right.
And so now I'm kind of like,
do you have an in-home child care facility, or?
Yes, I have an in-home child care facility.
And you've had children there, right? That are
absolutely. Yes.
How many children do you have?
I have 12 to 15, but with the mandate from the governor, we're only allowed to take 10 at a time. So I'm really working with just my essential parents,
Yes.
those that are working in the hospitals and different serving people, that public sector.
Right. We have 3 childcare facilities in our portfolio. So
Okay.
I was just speaking with one of our all-stars yesterday, and she's been in business about, 4 years, but she expanded and opened 2 more daycare centers, in daycare centers. And so you're licensed and you have a consultant, somebody at the state that's kind of helping you avail yourself of the resources that might be available to you there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so are you eligible to receive reimbursement for the kids that are not showing up, that they'll pay for those personal days? Is that?
Yes, that is correct.
And are you doing that now?
Yes, I'm actually going to fill that out to compensate for those that didn't come this past week. But I do have kids still coming.
Right. And what percentage do you have that are state pay versus private pay?
All of mine are state paid.
All of them? Okay. Well, as you know, or you most likely know, I learned a lot yesterday from talking with my all-star. And she tells me the personal days, before crisis was 20 days.
Mm-hmm.
And they added 40 more to it.
That is correct.
So that hopefully it'll grow to peace. So I wanted to make sure you were doing those kind of things, applying and I will say that I learned that a private pay are eligible to use. The state will reimburse you for those too, if you that it evidently is a separate process.
Mm-hmm.
Not unusual to have, maybe like my customer here has probably 90% state pay, but then she has, the other 10%. She calls them her cash kids.
Yes. Yes. I had them and then I lost them because they were, they couldn't go to work. So.
Right. Again, if you have extra spaces, I know another one of my daycare. Yes, I can. Hello? I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it froze up. Okay. Yeah. Oh. I had a 10% of my cash kids, and then those parents, of course, had to seek unemployment.
Yes.
So I did. I originally had like the 10% of those parents, and then definitely they took the road to just get unemployment. So of course they can't afford to pay their.
Right. And Quita, I haven't seen the paperwork per se, but you may have, one of your parents in that position who are unemployed, but maybe they're going to be called back and they need someplace for their child to go, and that maybe you can use some of the state reimbursement to cash flow in the beginning, until they, so that your parent will they'll have a space to put their child, and then also to maybe you can cash flow while they're doing that. So, and I would, I don't know the timing of those, but I do know that it seems to be a separate application process. We all have a little extra time now. We're trying to get things like that done.
Okay.
The other thing that I would say, that do you have a bookkeeping system set up?
I am working on that. I've been doing my own, but I've been connecting. I actually just had a Zoom meeting on yesterday. So I'm connecting with an accountant and someone that's going to help with that process. Right. But I've been doing my own so far.
I understand. You use QuickBooks?
Yes.
So what we require, and I know you haven't been open that long, but we require financial statements.
Okay.
So it'd be a great time to go ahead and, usually a CPA who's really familiar with that program can kind of help you get your chart of accounts right, and guide you through that process and go, oh, you need to put this over there, that over here, those kind of things. Just make sure everything's right, and happy with it. And then there's nothing wrong with just doing them yourself after that, and maybe using them to after setup to make sure they're reconciled properly.
Okay, thank you.
And that would be something I would go ahead and get in place.
Okay.
And then I would also, Laquita, I would just through the small. Are you familiar with the resources at the Indiana Small Business Development Center?
Yes, I just spoke to someone yesterday.
Okay.
On a Zoom.
Yeah, fantastic. We encourage all of our customers to work with them. You and I, the taxpayer, pay for the service, and they're just experienced, outstanding folks that before this they worked by appointment, and so they can probably meet you right there in your daycare. And what you might want to do is you get your book set up, and even though you don't have but a short track record, you would do some projections. Do you have that? They have projection engines that they help you with, or that you can download, and the projection engine is for you to play around and get it right realistically what's going to happen. And I know not any of us can't predict the future, but you do, like yesterday I worked with a customer. She did 3 different scenarios, one, what if I start my business tomorrow again, restart? What if it takes 6 months more? And then, one in the middle of that. And so, putting together that projection in so that any lender is going to look at, your booking system and kind of figure out from that projection what your cash flow needs are going to be going forward.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And that, because you're kind of guessing at it, and that should be a live document to you.
Okay.
And, what I'm going to have to pay my rent and this and that. Until then, excuse me. And so that projection is a good tool for you to have in lieu of children in your house. You can sit around and play with that.
Okay.
To get, and so that when you come to a lender, and perhaps it's me, that you can say, gosh, leave cash flow for the next 6 months, I need $10,000. And maybe I believe I might need 20,000, but I don't need but 10,000. I just, in case some more more bad news comes my way, I want to the money in place that you can use should this be extended.
Okay, and I do have my business plan, so I have that.
That's great. That's great.
Okay.
And also my colleague in Fort Wayne, you probably heard from her this morning, Sherry Aiden with Bright Point Development Fund. We partner with them on some loans.
Okay.
So we might work together with that, and where they cover part of it, and then we cover part of it.
Okay.
It's really transparent to you. You just get the money you need, but we kind of like work together and figure out a way to help you get there.
Okay.
And then I would also, stay in communication by electronic or wherever with all of your parents.
Okay.
Even I would say a best practice would be every week.
Okay.
Say, hi, I'm still here. How's your son or daughter doing? If you could offer them something instructional that they can do to not go crazy by having them at home. That's kind of something to do, because I think the parents at home kind of feeling isolated like all of us.
Yes.
They're wondering what's happening to you. And when I go back to work, will you still be there?
Okay.
So I would encourage you to do that. And even if you had a waiting list, I would communicate with them as well.
Okay.
And So that and so you may find also the that you may read in the paper or whatever that there's some grants and all this that are out there, and I will say be mindful of clicking links on the internet.
Okay.
All members have gotten real busy now. Maybe they're sitting at home with nothing to do also.
Okay.
You know, like somebody spoofed my email and was trying to get my customers to click on a link, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, if you see something like get a grant now, that's true. And just don't click on it because it could be more trouble than it's worth.
Thank you so much.
We wouldn't be interested. We wouldn't be asking you for your bank account over the phone or any of those kind of things. So
okay,
that is, you know, they're asking you. It's you should alarm bells. And you know, if I'm a nice person, I hate to. Some of those people are trying to make a living like that. They aren't scamming. They're just trying to reach out to you. Oh, that sounds like an interesting program. Let me get the company you work for, your name, a telephone number, and email. I'll call you back.
Okay.
And if it's legitimate, they're going to say great. If you know, if they hang up real fast, then probably something you needed to avoid at all cost.
Okay, great advice. Thank you so much.
And if you, I have my email on the guide there.
Okay.
And then my email and telephone numbers there. So as you move forward, maybe you can, you know, get our loan application. There's nothing magic that. Go ahead and fill it out. And you know, you might want to look at your personal credit score and those kind of things. And we won't make an initial inquiry on that credit unless we were committed to making a loan for you. So using Credit Karma or any of those kind of services, I get a commission, but you can monitor your credit each and every day, which is good. But also just give feedback to me as a lender and say, you know, I have a 740 or, you know, this was a problem because of a divorce or whatever the case may be. And you can start addressing that. And that's usually something you can do, spend time on so that if there's something wrong there, you can make sure it's on your credit.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And the other thing is that the last thing I'll mention to you is that, you know, usually and daycares are very much in competition with each other because, you know, once you get your kids, those parents are going to get else. And so what I would encourage you to do is next time you're reaching out to your consultant, which I know they're crazy busy, reach out to other daycares area and just chat with them, you know, and see how they're, or if they want to chat with you. Do that and just kind of a daycare support network. You know, maybe they have longer track record, but you know, they may give you tips on how they're weathering the storm.
Okay.
Since you have time, you may do some of that. Because I just learned a tremendous amount yesterday, you know, I spent probably 45 minutes with my daycare, one of my daycare all-stars, and you know, I just learned a great deal from her just speaking with her. So have gone before you and a little farther down the road. And so you don't have your completely inspected, everything's ready to go, right?
Yes, I am good. I've been it's been a year where I just had my second 6 months. So I just got my updated license, which I've been in business for a year. It doesn't seem like it, the 6 month, you know, so how they work it out, but everything is good. I passed, everything's great. And I actually have parents on a waiting list with the agency because I'm like, you know, I can't take anymore right now.
Right. And you know, I've heard mixed issues around this one aspect, but I know one of my daycare providers is doing it. I saw her providing a temporary space for children of our frontline workers, you know, like hospitals and firefighters, you name it. they're compelled to go to work and they need, maybe their daycare is closed or, maybe just a temporary place to put.
Yes. Yes.
I would explore that just because that might create a, revenue source for you if you can do that. I know you don't want to give away any spaces because you got all your kids lined up and, you can't over subscribe to that.
Right.
And if you applied for all of your food programs, USDA.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Thank you so much.
yes, and I'm told that you can, even though your kids aren't there, still prepare those meals and either, I guess, have the parents come by and you can get reimbursed for that.
Yes, I just found that out. So I've definitely been doing that as well.
Right. And that's a good service because some of the, your customers, your parents are working at home, so they can take a break by not having to prepare lunch for the kids. That'd be a great service to provide. So
absolutely.
I don't know if any of this helps, but we can't guarantee a loan, but we certainly would work with you and like I said, try to figure out what your cash needs are going forward and take advantage of some of those kind of things and keep up with all that you've invested because counts as the money you put in and we that that's a positive, because a lot of folks will ask for 100% financing. And what you did was basically finance yourself, and you want a lender to know about that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Certainly, and good luck. And we are in this together. And if something should occur, you think of a question or you have a half-baked idea, I'll take baked ideas. So call me up. Let's talk about it.
Thank you, Mr. Phil.
All right.
Bye-bye.